In the long-awaited meeting between Kenny Dillingham and Oregon head coach Dan Lanning, the Ducks have their way today in Tempe, winning 49-13. Nick Borgia of Devil's Digest joined alongside publisher Hode Urbino. And Hode, I know we're now at the end of the season, but it's almost like a trend is being set with ASU to win one week and get absolutely slaughtered the next week. But on top of that, Oregon proving why they're the sixth-ranked team in the country. This game was pretty much over before halftime.
Yeah, obviously Oregon does go up for 42-0 at half. Do get a late first half touchdown because of an interception by running back Cam Scadaboo. And look, I mean, there's a lot of ways you can look at this game, but just the fact that the ASU offense consistently ran running back Cam Scadaboo, tight end Jalen Conyers, along with quarterback Trent Bourget, and quarterback Jaden Rashada, the true freshman who started the first two games of the year, is just not healthy enough to play today. That basically, I think, handcuffs the Arizona State offense quite a bit. Now, don't get me wrong. I mean, Oregon is still a top 40, top 30 defense in the country, and they showed it today. So even if you had the full complement of all your weapons on offense, that wouldn't guarantee, I don't think, much more success than what Arizona State did today. But obviously, just a really, really tough loss for Arizona State, and like you said, Nick, really kind of following that pattern of winning a Pac-12 game and then just laying an egg in the next game. Sure, I mean, you played a tough Utah team a couple weeks ago in Salt Lake City, lost there 55-3, and today comes a beating, like you said, by one of the best teams in the country, let alone the Pac-12. So sometimes that's how the schedule shakes out, and it's kind of unfortunate that it is a one step forward, two step back, but that basically has been the ASU season in a nutshell.
And ASU has showed they can hang with some of the top dogs, at least some talented teams like USC, Colorado back in October, or even Washington. But today the defense was not able to contain Oregon, which is something that the defense has been able to do against other teams.
Yeah, definitely is disappointing. I mean, we talked about after the UCLA game, ASU definitely got a break, not playing not only not playing the number one quarterback for UCLA, but also not playing the number two quarterback for UCLA. And when they played their third quarterback, Colin Schlee, it really showed. Today, when you play, as you told me a few minutes ago, the leading odds favorite for the Heisman Trophy, according to quarterback Bo Nix, even though he's a guy that Kenny Dillingham knows very, very well, pretty much resurrected his career after some doormat years in Auburn. That basically just shows you what kind of caliber competition you go. It's really going from a 1 to a 10 in that regard. So Bo Nix is a quarterback that made a lot of defenses look bad this year, and Arizona State is unfortunately just another notch on his belt. Definitely disappointed to see the ASU defense, play the way they did today, play the way they did 2 weeks ago at Salt Lake. I mean, sure, you can talk about just the caliber of competition. Does eventually catch up with the ASU defense, which I think is a good unit, but still is lacking the depth to be an excellent unit. And on the other hand, when we have the Oregon defense, which in fairness, played, like we said, a very handcuffed ASU offense, an offense that has to, on a regular basis, roll out three different quarterbacks, and again, two of them are not even quarterbacks on the roster to begin with. That really shows you the difference. So definitely a tough day for the ASU defense, which really I think was not able to stop a lot of the passing game for Oregon. And Oregon, even though they're an excellent rushing game, averaging over 200 yards, they really didn't feel like they had to go to the ground. They just wanted maybe that shock and awe performance to really just demoralize ASU, and I don't know if that necessarily was their goal, but that's how it played out today on Saturday. And the defense definitely did not have any answers for them in the first half. Second half, I think Oregon, in all fairness, did really take the foot off the gas pedal. Bo Nix, I think at least a good quarter, maybe quarter and a half, did not play at all. So that allowed the defense to somewhat put up respectable numbers. But Oregon, 603 yards of total offense. That's basically the story of the game.
So you did already talk about the three different quarterbacks we saw in the game for ASU today, very similar to last week, except the result not so similar. Oregon was not at all surprised by this, and it seemed like Dan Lanning had it figured out with the Oregon defense to be able to contain any tricks that ASU had going.
Yeah, I think that ASU probably wanted to run the ball more than they ran today. But the thing is, not to belabor the point, but when you have Cam Scadaboo and or Jalen Conyers back there, a quarterback, you kind of thinking, okay, there's at least a 50-50 chance that a run is coming, rather than a throw. And I'm not saying those two did not throw the ball, and I think some of the throws were better than others. But that really not only messes up your passing game, but I think really also messes up your running game. I don't believe DeCarlos Brooks, did play today, so there definitely is depth issues with the Arizona State running back group, as it is. So really, they had to try to answer Oregon with the passing game, and I think it's only natural for any head coach, any offensive coordinator, to try to pass the ball a little more than they want to when you see the opponent spotting you 2, 3, 4, 5 touchdowns, and that's, I think, another factor that happened today. The ASU offense is not going to face a slouch of a defense by any means next week with Arizona. So definitely, definitely a lot of things to figure out. I know a lot of fans are already asked me during the game, and will probably ask me now after the game, what about Jaden Rashada? Is he going to play next week against Arizona? Obviously, there's not an issue of him being able to preserve his red shirt. That's going to take place anyway, even if he did play the entire game. I don't know if Kenny Dillingham really provided any answers in the post game, but we'll see throughout the week of practice if we see Jaden Rashada really getting more and more opportunities. He did practice with the second team all this week. He did warm up with the second team pregame, but in Kenny Dillingham's mind, probably just not healthy enough, and maybe you wanted to keep him away from that Oregon defense. I'm not saying that Kenny Dillingham thinks about the Oregon defense much more highly than the Arizona defense, but he probably feels deep down a little more comfortable having Rashada actually go out and face Arizona. I'm not here to suggest that he's going to start against the Wildcats. I mean, that definitely remains to be seen. Jaden Rashada obviously did not play since week 2. He has a lot of rust to knock off, even though he's been practicing more and more and doing more team segments all week. But that is definitely, I think, one question after what happened today that's going to be squarely on the mind of the ASU fans. And we'll see how the situation materializes itself. Like I said, the ASU offense right now is definitely handcuffed with what they have. I'm not saying Jaden Rashada is going to be the end-all, be-all answer, but at this point, I wouldn't be surprised if the coaching staffs, again, if they felt comfortable enough with Jaden Rashada's health and capabilities to throw him in there, if not as a starter, maybe somebody that's going to see action early in the game. We'll see.
So we'll do our best to monitor the Rashada mystery, but this next week, as you mentioned, Arizona. In a season like this for ASU, these kinds of games, obviously the Territorial Cup, are all that matters. So with an Arizona team that's red hot and probably more difficult than a lot of people were going to be expecting this team to be towards the end of the season, what else do you think is on the to-do list for ASU as they prepare for this big game?
Yeah, I just think that ASU definitely has their hands full on both sides of the ball. I mean, the fact that Arizona earlier today at home beat Utah 48-14, that really in a nutshell is just what kind of Arizona team we're seeing this year. Plenty explosive on offense, but they finally figured out their defense, and now they're showing how much more dangerous they are. I mean, I think that some mathematical theoretical chance, I think it'd still be in the Pac-12 championship game if they do beat ASU and some other dominoes do actually fall their way. So that's the type of season that Arizona is having, and ASU. I mean, you can talk about, okay, they're going to be motivated for their Territorial Cup. They're going to get up for that game. You're going to see a whole different team, and I'm not doubting any of those elements whatsoever. But you're playing one heck of a team, maybe not Oregon's caliber, but I don't think that far at all below that caliber of the Ducks. And again, a team that is equally as talented on offense as they are on defense. So I think when it comes to the Territorial Cup, by default, when it comes on offense and defense for that matter too, you're trying to pull plays that you simply have not shown on film, all year long. There's obviously a very fine line to walk. It's like, okay, if I'm going to, start to implement a different aspect of my offense or defense that I really haven't shown on film, maybe I haven't practiced all that much, how much of a success can I have this week? So I'm really curious to see, what exactly would happen, on both sides of the ball. I'm sorry, for Arizona State. But again, when it comes to the offense, just I just don't know how much more they can do right now with all the tools they have, and more importantly, the tools that they don't have at that disposal. I would expect the defense to play much better, because as good as this Arizona offense is, they're definitely not the explosive offense that they saw today against Oregon. So maybe there's going to be so much of a reprieve. But to me, it's going to come back to a point that I know you and I have been talking all year long. Okay, if the defense is going to play well, okay, is the offense going to support it enough? That's going to be a huge story, this week. So again, I think that the Arizona State offense has to be more creative than they have been today. And again, that might be really easier said than done at this point of the season. But that's something that's going to be absolutely crucial for the Sun Devils to get back the Territorial Cup to Tempe.
All right, well, we will do our best to follow all the action leading up to the Territorial Cup this coming weekend throughout practice. So keep it locked in at DevilsDigest.com, and please drop a follow at Devils Digest on Twitter. That's Hoder Bino. My name is Nick Borgia. We appreciate you tuning in, and we will see you next time.